The banging on my front door was so loud, I swore someone was trying to smash it to splinters. Heart racing, I darted to the peephole and saw a woman mid-40s, platinum blonde hair and a sharp bob, oversized sunglasses perched on her nose like she was auditioning for a reality show VY Lane. Her face was twisted with fury as she screamed, "I know you're in there. This is your last warning." Her voice was shrill, piercing enough to wake the entire block. "You're trespassing on property under HOA control. Pack your stuff and get out now." I fumbled for my phone, hitting record as she kept ranting. "I've already called the cops. You've got 1 hour before they drag you out," she shrieked, storming off with her phone glued to her ear. "Yes, 911. I'm reporting an illegal squatter at 1422 Oakwood Lane. I'm the HOA president, and this guy has no right to be here." My jaw hit the floor. This woman, Laura Bennett, as I'd later learn, was trying to EVICT me from my own house, completely clueless that I was the legal owner. 6 weeks earlier, I'd signed the papers for my dream duplex after years of scraping together every penny. It was a charming 2-unit place in a quiet suburban neighborhood, perfect for levying in one half and renting out the other. I'd spent the last month pouring my heart into renovations, new kitchen counters, refinished hardwood floors, a fresh coat of paint on the exterior. Everything was falling into place until Laura showed up 3 days ago, flipping my world upside down. It started innocently enough. I was unloading paint cans from my car when she strutted up, clipboard in hand, nails manicured to perfection, and a smile so fake it could have been plastic. "Hi there," she said, voice dripping with condescension. "I'm Laura Bennett, president of the Oakwood Lane Homeowners Association. I see you're making changes to this property, and I'm here to ensure they meet our standards." I blinked, confused, and explained that my closing papers clearly stated there was no HOA. The only agreement was a simple one between the duplex units about shared roof and foundation costs. Her smile vanished faster than a pop balloon. "Young man," she snapped, "I've run this neighborhood for 15 years. Every house on this street answers to us. That door color? Not on our approved list. And your landscaping? Submit it in triplicate before you plant a single shrub." I nodded politely, thinking that'd be the end of it. Big mistake. The next morning, a typed violation notice was taped to my door, listing nonsense like unapproved paint, improper parking, my car was in my own driveway, and aesthetic degradation of community standards. It looked official with fancy letterhead, but had no legal details, just Laura's personal email and a demand for a due lot $200 compliance fee. By the next day, she'd escalated to slipping fake tickets under my windshield wiper and snapping photos of my house from the sidewalk like a wannabe detective. When I confronted her, she claimed she was documenting violations for an HOA board meeting. I asked for the HOA's registration and bylaws. She promised to email them. Spoiler, she never did. Things got downright unhinged when I came home from work to find a strange guy messing with my front door. "Who are you?" I demanded. He looked startled. "I'm a locksmith. The property manager hired me to change the locks due to an unauthorized occupant." My blood ran cold. "I'm the owner," I said, showing him my keys and ID. The poor guy looked mortified. The lady who called Laura said she was HOA authorized to secure an abandoned property. She was adamant it was urgent. That was it. I'd had enough. I called a non-emergency police line to report Laura's harassment and attempted break-in. The dispatcher promised to send someone out. 20 minutes later, 2 police cruisers rolled up, but not for Laura, for me. Apparently, Laura's 911 call about a trespasser had beaten my report. She pulled up in a shiny luxury SUV, parking it halfway on my lawn like she owned the place. She stepped out, clutching a folder and wearing a smug grin. "Officers, thank goodness you're here," she cooed, laying it on thick. "This man is squatting in a property under community management. As HOA president, I've tried to handle this properly, but he's defiant." The taller officer turned to me, eyebrow raised. "Sir, can you prove you have a right to be here?" My heart pounded, but I stayed calm. "Absolutely." I and VY-Ted them inside and pulled out my closing documents, property deed, utility bills, and IDOL in my name, all matching the address. "I bought this place 6 weeks ago," I said. I checked before closing. There's no HOA registered for this street. Laura tried to butt in while VYing her folder like a weapon. Those are forged. Our association governs every property in this development. The officers asked to see her paperwork, and that's when the whole thing unraveled. Laura's folder was a joke generic letterhead, a hand-drawn map of the neighborhood with my house circled in red marker, and some HOA rules clearly copied from a random website. No official registration, no legal documents, nothing legit. The officers' faces grew skeptical, and then my neighbor, Mr. Thompson, a retired lawyer who'd lived across the street forever, stepped in. "Officers," he said calmly, "this woman doesn't even live here. She lost her condo 2 miles away last year and has been harassing our neighborhood ever since, pretending to run a non-existent HOA." Laura's face turned beet red. "That's a lie," she screeched. "I'm protecting property values. These people are ruining our standards." The officers weren't buying it. They stepped aside, murmuring into their radios, then approached her. "Ma'am, we need to ask you some questions. It seems you've misrepresented yourself to this homeowner and to 911. Laura's smugness evaporated. She clutched her folder and backed toward her SUV. "This is absurd. I'm Leah VYing. You'll hear from our lawyer." "Actually, ma'am," the officer said, stepping forward, "you're not going anywhere. We have reason to believe you try to unlawfully enter this residence by misleading a locksmith. We also need to discuss your false 911 call and possible fraud." The locksmith, who'd stuck around, piped up. "She told me she was the property manager and the owner had abandoned the place. Said it was an emergency." Laura's eyes darted around, and then she bolted for her SUV. She didn't get far. The officers caught her in seconds, and before I could process it, they were reading her Miranda rights right there on my lawn. "You can't do this," she wailed as they cuffed her, her sunglasses slipping off her nose. "Do you know who I am? I'm SA VYing this neighborhood. He's the one breaking the rules." The neighbors, now gathered on their porches, watched in stunned silence as Laura was marched to the cruiser, still screaming about her rights. It was like a scene from a bad movie, except it was my life. A week later, I got a letter from the city apologizing for the ordeal and detailing Laura's charges: criminal trespass, attempted breaking and entering, filing a false police report, fraud, and impersonating a housing official. She was facing multiple misdemeanors with up to 18 months in jail and fines overdue law $5,000. The detective who followed up said Laura had pulled this fake HOA scam on 3 other new homeowners in nearby neighborhoods, pocketing fines from people too confused to fight back. In court, she reportedly showed up looking like a ghost, unprepared for the hammer to drop. When the judge listed the charges and penalties, she collapsed into her chair, sobbing that she was just maintaining standards. The judge wasn't moved, especially after hearing from her other VY Tims. Laura's reign of terror was over, and she was left to face the music for her twisted neighborhood power trip. As for me, I'm back to enjoying my duplex, painting my door whatever color I damn well please, and leave VYing in peace HOA free. But I can't help wondering, how many others like Laura are out there, bullying people with fake authority? What do you think, should people like her face harsher penalties to stop these scams? Or was she just a misguided control freak who got in over her head? And here's a spicy one. If you were me, would you press charges to the max or let her off with a warning? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if you're as shocked as I was, and subscribe for more crazy stories like this. Let's get this conversation going.